Speaks. What up, what up? Welcome back to another episode of Marcus Speaks. I'm your host, Marcus, and I'm feeling pretty good today. I was I was watching this YouTuber, right? And he does like he does like blog videos, and I don't know. He just inspired me, man. Like to try to do more and stuff like that. Like it's crazy. Um. So yeah. That's that. And yeah, man. Like it's crazy. But anyway, I'll get into it. I see that there's only one person in the chat room right now, so I'm gonna wait until everything builds up. I'll give it maybe 2 minutes. I'll come back at 1:35, or yeah, I'll come back at 1:35, and I'll start everything. So I'll be right back. What up? What up? What up? I'm back. So, all right, check this out. Who has seen the debate that happened last week? Donald Trump and Joe Biden. That had to be probably the silliest goddamn debate I've ever seen in my life. Like, number one, let's do it like this. Number one, these fools was talking over each other. They were freaking uh not really saying enough. They wasn't saying like what everything was supposed to like help the American people. Nothing. They were just fussing over some bitch shit that they got going on between themselves. Like this shit's crazy. Like I can't even like I can't even like think of and recollect what they were saying. But before I go that far, I would like everybody to like, comment, and subscribe onto this video. Make sure you let people know about this. Make sure you send this out and let people know that that the video is going on right now. Also, I want you guys to subscribe to my social medias. That's what I want y'all to do. I want y'all to subscribe to my social medias. They're all right there, so I ain't gotta say them no more or whatever. It was killing me to say most of them. So anyway, I'll leave this up for a little bit, and also before I get into any of that, we gotta go through the shit that, and I'll say this: on last week's live stream, I got a copyright strike on it by Complex. Complex basically put me in for copyright infringement over a beat that I played. And that beat that I was playing last week when I took the break or whatever, I got that beat from the YouTube Studio app or website. So I don't understand like how they thought that, you know what I'm saying, like the music that I was playing was theirs. Maybe because they play it on their platform, and that's probably the only music that they play on their platform. So I just want to put that out there. Like, the hell with Complex News or Complex, whoever the fuck did it, and I don't appreciate that shit for playing the beat. But anyway, before I get into all that, everything that we're gonna go through, we gotta go through some legal shit off of what the hell I went through last week. So, YouTube, if you're watching, I'm gonna read this aloud, and I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something now. I do not own the rights to any of the videos that I'm gonna be playing today. That's number one. Number two, since I'm gonna be playing videos that aren't owned by me, we're gonna go through the federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyright motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use, and let me move out the way. And is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe or copyright under 17 USC 107. All right. I got that out the way. So, what we gonna do is I'm gonna take that down, and if you guys have already seen this or whatever, I'm gonna take these down too. But I'm gonna put them up at the end so y'all ain't gotta worry about nothing. So, number one, I would like to say, I want to thank the 18 people that watched my video. I don't know if y'all watched it live stream or y'all just watched the replay, but I would like to thank y'all for tuning in. And please don't forget, send this stuff out if you are on social media. Send it out to your friends and stuff. Like, hey, my boy or my brother, or this guy I know, or this guy I found on YouTube is live streaming now. Like, you should check it out. Go ahead and send out the share link and let them know that I'm on. I'm on every Saturday between 1:30-ish to 2-ish p.m. So make sure you let them know. All right. So to get into today's topic is Donald Trump caught the coronavirus, and this is everything I'm gonna play is leading up to that. So the first video that I'm gonna play today is a piece of the debate or whatever. So, let me turn my volume up for that, and let me bring everything up, and let's enjoy.
Justice Ginsberg said very powerfully, very strongly, at some point, 10 years ago or so, she said a president and the Senate is elected for a period of time, but a president's elected for 4 years. We're not elected for 3 years. I'm not elected for 3 years. So we have the Senate, we have a president.
He's elected to the next
During
election.
that
You obviously
period
don't know
of
what the
time,
hell he's
during
talking
that
about.
period of time, we have an opening. I'm not elected for 3 years. I'm elected for 4 years. And the
Election's
100
already
million
started.
people, Joe, the 100 million people is totally wrong. I don't know where you got that number. The bigger problem that you have is that you're going to extinguish 180 million people with their private health care, that they're very
That's
happy
simply
with.
not true.
Well, you're certainly going to socialist. You're going to socialist.
We're now into, gentlemen, we're now into open discussion.
Open discussion.
Open discussion, yes, I agree. Go ahead, Vice President.
Number one, he knows that what I proposed. What I proposed is that we expand Obamacare and we increase it. We do not wipe any, and one of the big debates we had with 23 of my colleagues trying to win the nomination that I won, were saying that Biden wanted to allow people to have private insurance still. They can. They do. They will under my proposal.
Not what you've said,
But
and it's not what
that
your
is-
party has said.
that is simply
Your party
a lie.
doesn't say, your
That
party
is
wants to
simply-
go socialist
My
medicine.
party is
and
me.
socialist
Right
healthcare.
now, I am
And
the
they're gonna
You
Democratic.
see how they talking
You know
over each
that.
other? This
I
shit's
am the
ridiculous.
Democratic Party right now. The platform of the
Not according
Democratic
to
Party
Harris.
is what I, in fact, approved of. What I approved of.
Alright. So, you see how they was talking over each other and they wasn't giving each other enough chance to make their points and stuff like that. And they wasn't allowing each other to get, you know, what they wanted to say out. So the crazy thing about this is that if you watch the debate, you can see that nothing got brought up about what they're gonna do about all this shooting and stuff that's happening with you know, the Breonna Taylor stuff, and you know what I'm saying, like all that stuff. In which, in the Kamala Harris and Mike Pence debate, they brought that up, and I'm gonna play a little bit of that, but it's only the funny part if y'all didn't see it, so I'm gonna show y'all the funny part. But the crazy thing about the debate with Joe Biden and Trump is that nothing got solved. like they didn't come, like they didn't talk about anything that was of substance. All they talked about was the past presidents and what they did and what Joe Biden wants to do. He wants to keep the Obamacare thing going, and he was saying that Trump wants to end it, but he's been saying it since he's been into the presidency, and he doesn't have anything that reflects or is as tangible, if more tangible, of the Obamacare thing. So really, like, these two presidential candidates that we got, along with the vice presidents, like, this is the country that we live in, and if any of them get elected or re-elected, this is what we gonna see within 4 years, whatever. It was basically like rap, like they was rap battling each other without rapping. Like they was basically like, you know what I mean, coming at each other and bringing up personal shit. Shit was crazy, and it was funny at the same time. And what made it even more funnier is that SNL, you know how they do their little parodies and stuff like that. So they did their little parody on the Joe Biden and the Trump debate. And the two people playing Trump and Biden, the person that's playing Trump is Alec Baldwin. He's been on there a few times as him during like debates and stuff like that, like the parody debates and stuff like that. Just playing Trump or whatever. And then you got Jim Carrey playing Biden, which made it even more funny. So I'm gonna play this video. Hold on, let me get y'all the screen. Let's go.
I don't want to be dictated to, and I'm not going to be distracted anymore by this clown tonight. Okay? I'm definitely going to concentrate. I'm going to try to keep my what is that? Where's that coming from? Yeah.
Mr. President, please stop using a laser pointer.
It's not. This is a wand that cures the COVID, okay?
Boys.
You see, you got Maya Rudolph playing
Both
Kamala
of you,
Harris.
this stops right now. All right? You look at me, Donald. You do not treat my Joe like that, all right? He's a nice boy.
Oh, I got this.
Joe. Let Mama go to work. Now, Donald, I want you to apologize.
I got this video
to
from
Joe.
this girl named Brittany Cole, so thank you, Brittany Cole, for recording what you recorded,
All right? I
but
don't
you
even
know
care who
you
started it.
wrong for
Now,
recording shit off your
You
television.
apologize to Joe now.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I said sorry. Okay, are you happy now?
I think if there's one thing we learned tonight,
This shit
it's
is
that
crazy.
America needs a woman as president.
Like smiling at everything.
Alright, so that was all of that, like, of what I'm gonna show, but the shit was crazy. Like how how Jim Carrey looked just as much
Is a great insight.
as Pence as he could. Like that shit was funny to me. Plus Alec Baldwin with the pokey lips or whatever. That shit was hilarious. So as you can see, everybody's making a mockery of like the presidential debate and shit like that. So because what we saw was basically a shit show, and as I just said earlier, like there's really nothing that it's really nothing that we can really do other than vote for whoever we think needs to be in office. That's really the only thing. And I'm not sitting here telling y'all that go and vote, because that's really not my thing. I don't really think that any of these candidates are worth any of our time. But anyway, nonetheless, I'm not going to try to keep y'all here long, but so Kamala Harris and Mike Pence had their debate. It was basically the same, but it wasn't to the point to where like they were being disrespectful. They were just trying to up each other in their debate. So Kamala brought up a point to Pence to where he, like, the moderator that did their debate that basically looked like Sally Jesse Raphael, she asked, I think it was Pence, about what do they think that they should do with the whole Breonna Taylor, like, stuff like that. Like, what are they gonna, like, enforce and stuff like that when it comes to, like that whole thing. So Pence basically gave his whole description of what he thinks or what should be implemented into their into the like the federal law or whatever when it comes to like police conduct with civilians. So he made his point, and then Kamala came when she was asked to say, like it was the same question, but it was a different way how Sally Jesse Raphael asked her. That's what I'm going to call the lady, because I don't know her name. So Sally Jesse Raphael asked her, I think it was a question along the lines of, what do you think that in Biden's presidency that he should do if he is elected, to what he should do when it comes to when it comes to the whole Breonna Taylor thing. So I think I got that queued up. If not, it's basically, well, and also I should say, if y'all wasn't watching, a fly was sitting on Mike Pence's head for like 2 minutes, and he didn't even budge to try to like get it away or anything. So I'm gonna play that. I think that's along the lines of what's talked about, but if not, I just gave y'all the point or whatever. And plus, Pence, when Kamala made that point, he upped her with her conviction rate that she had in California, which the U.S. Senate, if not the federal justices, the Supreme Court justices, basically told Kamala when she was in office, yo, like, your conviction rate is over the country's average. Like, you need to release some of your inmates. And she basically folded her arms and said, no, like, we're keeping the bad people off the street. And most of them people, which one of the people that was convicted was a mother that was just trying to get her daughter into a better school, but she didn't live in the district that the school was in. So whatever. So let's get to the video.
Is a great insult to the men and women who serve in law enforcement. And I want everyone to know who puts on the uniform of law enforcement every day, President Trump and I stand with you. And it is remarkable that when Senator Tim Scott tried to pass a police reform bill, brought together a group of Republicans and Democrats, Senator Harris, you got up and walked out of the room. And then you filibustered Senator Tim Scott's bill on the Senate floor that would have provided new accountability, new resources, but we don't have to choose between supporting law enforcement, improving public safety, and supporting our African American.
He didn't feel it crawling around on his head or nothing.
Under President Trump's leadership, we'll always stand with law enforcement, and we'll do what we did from day one, and that is improve the lives of African Americans.
Thank you, Vice
Record
President.
unemployment, record investments in education, and we'll fight for school choice for all of our men.
Thank you, Vice
I'd
President.
like to respond.
Senator Harris.
I will not sit here and be lectured by the Vice President on what it means to enforce the laws of our country. I am the only one on this stage who was personally prosecuted, everything from child sexual assault to homicide. I'm the only one on this stage who has prosecuted the big banks for taking advantage of America's homeowners. I'm the only one on this stage who prosecuted for-profit colleges for taking advantage of our veterans. And the reality of this is that we are talking about an election in 27 days, where last week the President of the United States took a debate stage in front of 70 million Americans and refused to condemn white supremacists.
All right,
And
hold up. I want to make a point on that. So, when Trump said to the question, when he didn't condemn the racist people's statement, like, what are you gonna do with the white supremacists and stuff like that? So Trump basically told him to what did he say? He said, stand back and stand by. That's basically what he said. Stand back and stand by. So, if y'all haven't saw the video of, I think I spoke about it last week, how it was this white dude, he was in his kitchen recording a video basically talking about if Biden and Kamala is elected, then Proud Boys are gonna, like, basically tear the country apart, basically. That's basically was the concept of the video. And the funny thing is, after that video was released, probably a couple days later, the damn, I forgot his name, but if you ever watched the old Star Treks, like the very first Star Trek that ever came out back in like the 50s or the 60s. So the Asian dude that was on there, he's gay. He's a gay man. So he basically made a video and said, well, to all of my gay Americans and stuff like that, why don't you guys, basically talking to like gay men, why don't you guys take pictures, post them up on social media, and put the hashtag as Proud Boys when you guys are like kissing or holding hands and stuff like that. Which, if y'all go on any type of like social media site, probably Twitter, you'll probably see it more. Is all of these threads of gay men putting pictures up of like them kissing, their significant other or whatever, and the hashtag is Proud Boys, which is fucking hilarious. But let's keep going.
It's like he didn't have a chance. He didn't do it, and then he doubled down. And then he said, when pressed, stand back, stand by. And this is a part of a pattern of Donald Trump's. He called Mexicans, right?
In the last few minutes, President Trump has...
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. But, you can see how Harris and Pence was exchanging their little, jabs at each other. But in that whole debate, Pence was basically schooling Harris the whole time. Like, it wasn't like it was basically him and it was basically him just bringing up all of Biden and Harris's like wrongdoings against the American people. Now, from what I heard, what Pence did, because I think he was the governor or the senator of Illinois. I said Illinois. Yeah, either Illinois or Indiana. I think it's Indiana. He wrote a bill to where it stated, if you feel threatened, if your life is threatened by a law enforcement officer, then basically the law states that it's okay to basically stand your ground against the police officer. Which in that case, we all know what the stand your ground shit means. It basically means kill whomever is, is threatening your life. So, whomever, like, with the whole debate, like, I'm at a loss for words, because, like, they didn't really talk about anything, and the key point of what Kamala said was, the election is then it was 27 days, which was a debate on Tuesday, so, 5 days later, so we got 22 days left. 22 days until the election starts, and it's all this BS, in which I'm pretty sure Kamala and Pence have another debate, and also Biden and Trump, but they want Trump and Biden to do like a webcam sort of like debate, but Trump's like, nah, I'm good. And Pence is not Pence, but Biden is basically throwing it all in his face, like you're a pussy and shit like that. So so the next video I'm going to show is basically, okay, so we all know Trump caught Corona, and he was out of the hospital within 3 days. So this is the report that Sky News had reported when Trump had caught the coronavirus. So let's get to that.
In the last few minutes, President Trump has tweeted saying that he and the First Lady have tested positive for COVID-19. Let's go straight to Los Angeles and our US correspondent, Greg Milam. Morning to you, Greg. I mean, we knew this was a possibility, But this is going to play really big in the States, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, this is a tweet 5 to 1 in the morning in Washington, and that tweet from the president saying we will get through this together. But you're right, it's been coming in the last couple of hours, and I can take you through what happened. Excuse me. Hope Hicks, who's one of the closest, if not the closest advisor to Donald Trump, was confirmed a few hours ago as having tested positive for COVID-19. Now, she has been traveling with the president throughout this week. She was on that trip to Cleveland in Ohio for the presidential debate on Tuesday. She was with him on a trip to a rally in Minnesota on Wednesday. Now, on that trip to Minnesota, she'd had a test. She was found to be negative before traveling. She began to feel unwell on the trip and quarantined on the plane back. She'd been on Air Force One and Marine One with the president. She tested positive when she got back, and that was on Wednesday night. And as a result of that, in the last few hours, the president confirmed that he and the First Lady had been tested for COVID-19. They were, in his words, beginning the quarantine process, and they expected the result in the next few hours, and that result is what we've just got back in the last few minutes. What's interesting is that the White House knew that Hope Hicks was positive on Wednesday night, Washington time, but still the president went ahead yesterday with the visit to his golf course in New Jersey, in Bedminster. That was for a fundraiser. So even though they knew he'd been in close contact with someone who had tested positive, that trip was allowed to go ahead. And it's only in the last few hours that quarantine process has begun, and that will be a 14-day quarantine process. We wait to hear from the White House what the protocol is. Now, under guidelines from the Centers for Disease Control, you would assume the president is considered an essential worker, so he will be able to continue to do his job from the White House, you would imagine, although there is the possibility that the Vice President, Mike Pence, will be able to step in. But all of this, of course, in an election campaign, in events planned for the next few days and weeks as he seeks re-election. This is a real bombshell from a man, of course, who has always downplayed his own vulnerability to this virus.
Yeah, I mean, and of course, this is going to bring back all the things that he said right at the beginning of all of this, isn't it? And even down to him claiming at one point that this was all just a hoax. I mean, in terms of the presidential campaigning and what the Democrats and those Republicans who are against Trump are going to say, I mean, this gives them almost an open goal, doesn't it?
Yeah, when you go back to the very beginning, and of course in the presidential debate earlier this week, Joe Biden made a great play of the fact that Donald Trump early on had said this would disappear like a miracle. He mocked the fact that Donald Trump had talked about injecting bleach, although Donald Trump said he was being sarcastic. Of course, hydroxychloroquine, the president said he had taken a course of that to make sure that he didn't get the virus himself. And yet here we are, like his ally in Brazil, who had downplayed the risks, but then was tested positive. It's happened, and Donald Trump, as I say, has downplayed his own vulnerability. He very rarely wears a mask himself, as we know. He carries one. He showed it on the debate stage. He very rarely wears that mask. Some of those around him do. Those who come into close proximity in the White House are tested every day. But we see the pictures of him travelling, and certainly to the debate earlier this week, not all of them wearing masks. And he's continued to hold those rallies, and that one in Minnesota this week is an example. Thousands of people packed together in those rallies. Not many of them are wearing masks. A lot of them will tell you they don't believe that the virus is a great risk to them. Otherwise, they wouldn't be happy to jam together in those events without masks. He says they're open air events, and that is true. So the risk is less. But this will be a pretty sobering moment for those who are supporters of the president and have heard those messages. And it goes to the heart, of course, of his whole handling of this pandemic and that suggestion that there have always been mixed messages. He said people didn't need to wear masks, and then he did wear a mask. Said it's up to people to do what they want. He's talked about reopening the economy. He's talked in recent weeks about America rounding the corner in facing down this pandemic, in the face actually of what some of his medical experts have been saying. And here he is now himself testing positive, and the First Lady as well. What's interesting is that on his schedule for Friday, and he may well continue to work from the White House, of course, even in quarantine, he was due to hold a call on support for the elderly who were suffering from COVID-19. Well, we should remember he is in that group. He's 74 years old. He is one of the vulnerable people, more vulnerable group of the population from this virus.
All right. So as you can see, that president had to go through treatment, and he's out now, and he basically had the doctors from I think the hospital was called where'd I put that at? I forgot but it's the hospital that he went to in Bethesda, Maryland. And he he basically had it to where like he spoke about it as if like
although we're in the midst of a big
hold on, Obama, I'm talking.
We take that.
Sorry, y'all. So yeah, like he basically spoke on it as if like it wasn't shit to him. But I feel like after the debate happened, them boys had to get his attention real quick and talk to him. Y'all don't know who them boys is. Y'all need to look up who them boys is. And I don't know if I can say it on my live stream or not, but Tupac had an album out when he was when his name was the hell was that name that he went by? But anyway, it was that album he had where the album wasn't under Tupac, it was the other name, and if you take the K off of the name that he named the album, just take the K off from the front of it, and that's who I'm talking about. So, yeah, I feel like them boys went to go and see him and talk to him a little bit, or whatever. And it took 3 days to talk to him. So, anyway, with that being said, Obama came out and he basically told him to get well soon. So this is the video that he put out. Whatever. So let's get to it.
Although we're in the midst of a big political fight, and we take that very seriously, we also want to extend our best wishes to the President of the United States, the First Lady. Michelle and I are hopeful that they and others who have been affected by COVID-19 around the country are getting the care that they need, that they are going to be on the path to a speedy recovery. And it's important, I think, for all of us to remember that even when we're in the midst of big political battles with issues that have a lot at stake, that we're all Americans and we're all human beings, and that we want to make sure that everybody is healthy. And so Michelle and I want to make sure that we acknowledge the President of the United States and the First Lady at a difficult time.
Hey, NBC
All
News
right.
viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube.
So basically, Obama just wanted to tell him get well soon. It's time for you to quit bullshitting and debate Biden, so everybody can make their choices of what they, you know what I'm saying, make their choices of whoever they want to vote for. So, all right. So, Trump had the virus. Just saying, he had the virus, and he basically had it to where, you know, he was in the hospital in quarantine 3 days. He was taking all of these treatments and stuff like that. Which I'm gonna play a video of that, of these doctors talking about his the treatments that he got. I'm gonna play that full video, so if anybody has a family member, or if you contract it, like, you'll know, like, be like, just tell whoever you go to, whoever your healthcare professionals are, tell them, I heard the president went through this type of treatment. I'll like get that same treatment if you can make that suggestion. So yeah, freaking like it doesn't make any sense that if the CDC is telling, and the president and stuff like that is telling everybody that in order for you to be quarantined, you have to be quarantined for 14 days, right? So you got to be quarantined for 14 days. So he spends 3 days in the hospital taking all of these experimental treatments, and there's no way that them telling us that we have to be quarantined for 14 days, but then the president gets quarantined for 3 for all these experimental treatments, and then you look at how the national the country's national death rate is at like what 250,000, and Trump is obese, which is one of the deciding factors of you not being able to survive the virus. I don't know if Trump has diabetes or any other underlying health issues, but like I said, one of the things that causes people to to drop dead from the virus is obesity. We don't know if he had it or not. Maybe, like I said, maybe he had a meeting with them boys, or he's just being lazy and he doesn't want to talk with do the debate and talk with Biden again. Maybe he feels as though it's beneath him, but whatever. So what I want to do is, it was a CBS article, or not article. It was a CBS News report of his improvements and everything that he went through, and the doctors talk about it in the video. So they basically just go over him, like everything that they had to treat him with and everything, and they just give a news report on what they did. So I'm gonna play that for y'all for a little while, and I'm gonna cut my camera off so I can go and get something to drink. All right. So let me play this for y'all.
We spoke last.
And I'll be
President has
right
continued
back.
to improve. As with any illness, there are frequent ups and downs over the course, particularly when a patient is being so closely watched 24 hours a day. Over the course of his illness, the president has experienced 2 episodes of transient drops in his oxygen saturation. We debated the reasons for this and whether we'd even intervene. It was a determination of the team, based predominantly on the timeline from the initial diagnosis, that we initiate dexamethasone.
The president woke up Sunday morning at Walter Reed Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland, for the 2nd day in a row now. He's been receiving a combination of steroids and antiviral treatments. On Sunday morning, the president's Twitter account retweeted a video showing supporters gathered outside of the hospital with the message, "Thank you so much." On Saturday evening, Chief of Staff Mark Meadows said that the president was doing extremely well. But earlier in the day, he said President Trump's vitals were seen as, quote, very concerning on Friday. The president's doctors are expressing cautious optimism about his recovery, but say he's not out of danger just yet. Skylar Henry reports from Washington on the mixed messages coming from the administration.
I came here, wasn't feeling so well. I feel much better now.
President Trump discussed his health in a video recorded inside the Walter Reed Medical Center.
That's
So
what
I
it's
just
called,
want
the
to tell
Walter
you
Reed
that
Medical
I'm
Center.
starting to feel good. You don't know over the next period of a few days. I guess that's the real test. So we'll be seeing what happens over those next couple of days.
The video was posted to the president's Twitter account on Saturday evening. The White House also released photos showing Mr. Trump working in his hospital suite. Last night, Chief of Staff Mark Meadows said the president's condition had improved.
With no fever now, and with him doing really well with his oxygen saturation levels, we yesterday morning we were real concerned with that. You know, he had a fever, and his blood oxygen level had dropped. He's not out of the woods the next 48 hours or so. With the history of this virus, we know can be tough.
In a memo, White House physician Dr. Sean Conley said the president has made substantial progress since his COVID-19 diagnosis, adding, quote, "The team remains cautiously optimistic." Dr. Conley said the president continues to receive antiviral drugs as well as an experimental blood antibody treatment. Democratic...
All right. So, I feel like Trump did catch the virus, and for discretionary purposes that they don't want to tell the American people about it, for the simple fact that that he has it, because, you know, how we'll just go in an uproar, and the people who want to vote for Biden and Harris will get their way. But then again, you got the left, no, or is it the right? I can't remember these fucking terms that they be saying. So basically what I'm saying is that if Trump dies from the virus, then, you know, people who vote for Trump and stuff like that, they'll be fine with. I mean, people who's voting for Biden and Harris, they'll be fine with it. And then if Trump dies, then people who are voting for Biden and Trump, you know what I'm saying, they'll be fine with it too. But also at the same time, when he came out of the hospital, that whole weekend, motherfuckers was talking shit about Trump. And then when he came out of the hospital, like, they didn't know what to say or whatever. Like, they basically was like, oh, well, fuck it. He done came out the hospital and he looks all well. But does he look well? Does he look well? Now, I'm gonna show y'all this video, right, of him coming out of the hospital, right? So he's gonna come out of the hospital looking all fresh and everything, like everything's cool and all that. But I'm gonna show y'all a picture afterwards that makes it look suspicious of that he probably isn't well. So I'm gonna play y'all this video first. So let me click this and then let's get into the video. So you see Trump walking out, being all presidential or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying? He's walking as if shit is still cool or whatever. He has on his mask, which he never wears his mask at all.
How many of your staff are sick? Thank you very much. Thank you.
So this is opposite side. This is right side in the picture that I'm gonna show y'all. Right? So, you know, he probably gets in he gets into his truck, the presidential truck, or whatever. He comes back to the White House off the presidential helicopter or whatever, right? So he's walking up the steps to go back to work and everything like that. You know what I mean? So, check this out. When he takes off his mask, look at his face. You see that? See how it looks like he's gasping for air? He's playing it off and everything. See that? You see how it looks like he's gasping for air? He must have caught it. He must have caught the virus. And this is all speculation. I'm not saying that he did or if he didn't. But it looks like he did catch the virus. You see how it looks like he's gasping for air? Or whatever? And if y'all don't know, like, the whole thing of the coronavirus, like, you basically, like, it attacks your lungs or whatever. Like, it shreds up your lungs. So, you know what I'm saying? He's holding his pose, being presidential, being, you know what I mean, looking whack like he usually does. Alright, so enough of this. Enough of this. So, I want to show y'all something. Alright? Let me move out the way. Alright. So you see that bulge in his pocket? That circle right here? Now, you see this tube going up? And it doesn't look like it's attached to his ear. It doesn't look like it's like one of them things where Secret Service wears or whatever. It looks like whatever this is attached to this. And it's in his mask. So, it's a possibility that Trump has coronavirus. It's crazy. But he could be just stalling. He could be stalling for the simple fact that Trump doesn't have the coronavirus. He don't want to debate Biden anymore because he don't want that smoke. Just saying. Just saying. Trump don't want the smoke from Biden, but if y'all watch the vice presidential debate, Harris was giving all them sister girl grandma faces to Pence or whatever, and neck shake, and you know how grandmothers are, like, you better not do whatever, blah 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 blah. Like, she was doing all that pretty shit. But from what we saw at the presidential debate, if we can break down and digest the shit that they were saying, and if we look at the debate with Harris and Pence, can we break that down and digest it into something that when we go and like think about what they talked about, what looks like a better choice for the country? And Trump, right? So Trump had like a recorded message for us after he got out, like after the whole him coming out the helicopter and being presidential and shit like that. So he had something to say about him being in the hospital and everything that he saw in the hospital, because as you know, and what Kamala Harris said, he didn't believe in the coronavirus. He basically blamed it on the Chinese. He basically called it the Chinese flu. He called it the Kung flu. He called it the China virus. Like, he was being real disrespectful to Asian people, for real. And so this is what he had to say. I'll just get into it.
Left Walter Reed Medical Center, and it's really something very special. The doctors, the nurses, the first responders, and I learned so much about coronavirus. And one thing that's for certain, don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it. You're going to beat it. We have the best medical equipment. We have the best medicines, all developed recently. And you're going to beat it. I didn't feel so good. And 2 days ago, I could have left 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I felt great, like better than I have in a long time. I said just recently, better than 20 years ago. Don't let it dominate. Don't let it take over your lives. Don't let that happen. We're the greatest country in the world. We're going back. We're going back to work. We're going to be out front. As your leader, I had to do that. I knew there's danger to it, but I had to do it. I stood out front. I led. Nobody that's a leader would not do what I did. And I know there's a risk, there's a danger, but that's okay. And now I'm better, and maybe I'm immune. I don't know. But don't let it dominate your lives. Get out there. Be careful. We have the best medicines in the world, and it all happened very shortly, and they're all getting approved, and the vaccines are coming momentarily. Thank you very much. And Walter Reed, what a group of people. Thank you very much.
All right. So, you heard what he said, and basically was bullshitting people, because if you look at it, it's a possibility he has the virus. He just don't want to upset the American people. Well, all the ones that give a damn about him, not the people who don't give a damn about him. But it's a possibility that Trump could have the virus. It's a possibility. So, yeah. So you heard that. You heard him basically, say that he's fine, and he beat it and all that other stuff. But certain doctors have a certain they have a different viewpoint on everything. They think that he possibly has it. So as I'm setting this up, as I'm setting that video up, this is what I want to say to him.
Changing accounts from President Trump.
Sorry. So, okay, so it was these doctors, right? They was on like Washington Post. You can find everything that I have up here, as you can see, up on YouTube, or you can read some articles and stuff like that. This is where I'm getting all my information, and I'm also getting my information from certain other news sources that I look at and I read. So, so they're gonna show the doctors that you saw in the one video. They're gonna, I think, give like more of a lengthy, like the description of what happened, and then it's gonna go to these other doctors about certain medicines and stuff that they're using when it comes to the coronavirus. So let's get into that. Oops. I see the screen first. Alright, here we go.
The changing accounts from President Trump's doctors about his coronavirus treatment has created a credibility crisis for the White House.
He's not received any supplemental oxygen.
He's not on oxygen right now, that's right.
Are there any until today to disclose that the president has been administered oxygen?
It's a good question.
Thank you.
I was trying to reflect the upbeat attitude that the team.
On Sunday, Trump's medical team reported that his blood oxygen level dropped suddenly. It was the second time.
So, hold on.
Recent days.
Okay, so his blood oxygen level dropped twice since he was in the Walter Reed Medical Center, which means that either he could have underlying health issues, or he caught the virus and it's affecting him. So they had to go through all of these steps to bring his blood oxygen levels up, and and stuff like that. Which, I guess with the new Apple Watch, for everybody else, I'm not trying to sell the product, and they're not sponsoring the video, but I believe in Apple products. So, the new Apple Watch has a feature to where it measures your blood oxygen level, but they also do a couple tech guys saying how inaccurate it is, and you can just go to the store and buy a blood oxygen meter for like $25. So like anywhere from like Walmart, Target, and places like that, you can buy yourself a blood oxygen meter. So, all right, let's get back to the video.
A day later, however, the president's doctor said he was being discharged from the Walter Reed Medical Center and that he was continuing his treatment at the White House.
Though he may not entirely be out of the woods yet, the team and I agree that all our evaluations, and most importantly, his clinical status, support the president's safe return home, where he'll be surrounded by world-class medical care 24/7.
The president has an aggressive mix of treatments, including a 5-day regimen of an antiviral medication, as well as monoclonal antibodies, an experimental treatment still in clinical trials. He also receives steroids, vitamin D and zinc, and an over-the-counter drug to reduce stomach acid.
Alright, so as you can see, that the reporter that's narrating the video, he said that he also was given vitamin C and zinc. These are two properties or two vitamins that you or minerals that you need on a day-to-day basis. So if you're not taking a multivitamin or you're not eating anything that has these proponents in it, such as like fruits and vegetables, and also the CDC has yet to say that the one thing that'll help you not contract coronavirus is healthy eating, workout and exercise, and making sure you take your vitamins. That has yet to come out from the CDC. But they're giving you all these steps of what to do, social distancing, and making sure you don't get your grandparents sick and stuff like that. They went through all of these other steps other than telling us the real steps of what to do. And not at all am I a doctor or nothing like that, but I believe in healthy eating. I believe in taking vitamins and minerals. And you know what I'm saying? I believe in workout and exercise. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these things help you on a day-to-day, like a day-to-day basis. So why is it that the CDC wants us to do all of this other stuff other than telling us, which we should already know this by now, of what we should already be doing, which is, you know what I mean, what I just said, healthy eating, workout, exercise, and taking vitamins and minerals. So let's get back into the video. Sorry about that rant.
Howard Greller, a toxicologist who has seen many COVID patients, explains what each means.
The first is remdesivir, which is basically it's an antiviral agent. The best analogy to it would be something like Tamiflu, which is, I think, a drug that people are familiar with influenza. It's still being studied. And here's where it gets tricky. It's primarily been used in patients who have been sick, hospitalized and sick. And part of the reason for that is because its access to the drug has been limited. And part of it is we're still trying to figure out when is best to give the drug and who is best to give the drug to. You may have heard of that previously, called convalescent plasma. So basically people that survive having COVID, you then take out the antibodies from their blood and then use them to treat people who are actively combating the disease. This is something where it is a lab-created antibody against, or I believe it's 2, which is why they're calling it a cocktail. They're looking at it in order to see whether or not it can both prevent and or treat COVID. Dexamethasone is a drug that we've used therapeutically for decades. It's used in a host of inflammatory conditions ranging from, asthma to different allergic conditions to arthritis, like a whole host of things. And it's a potent steroid. This is by no means a cure-all. It's an additional tool to fight the virus, but one that seems to have good data to support its use in sick people. Its effectiveness is questionable, and certainly, it has some negative side effects to it, and it can have some significant side effects if too much is given. Yeah, I mean, vitamin D is an important vitamin, and it's an important thing, especially in people who are lighter skinned and who do not have regular sun exposure. And so typically
sun exposure is important.
Wintertime, Caucasian individuals are vitamin D deficient. It's Hepsid, to use the brand name.
So vitamin D in all forms is good for you. So there's a trend in the country of where people who have kids who stay in the house all the time, like almost every child stays in the house. Like, I don't see any kids playing outside like that. Most likely these kids are vitamin D deficient. And by them not getting the correct amount of sun exposure and stuff like that, like, kids up until the 80s, and probably kids who were born in the early 90s, probably up until like 90, maybe 94, maybe. We all was outside. Like, there wasn't any type of smartphones we had. It wasn't any type of computers that we had that would keep us in the house. No type of internet gaming that went on. Like, we were outside. That's how we learn how to do shit. Now with the kids now, they're not even outside. Their playground is digital. It's cell phones, it's video games, it's whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, in order for us to try to beat the virus, number one, the one thing that they never bring up is herd immunity. Which, herd immunity is important too, because does everybody remember who's probably in their 30s and up? Do y'all remember, well, I would say late 20s and up. Do y'all remember when y'all went over like a family member's house and a child had chicken pox and all the kids was there to get chicken pox? Basically, it was a chicken pox party. But the kids didn't know that they were there to catch chicken pox so they could get the virus and stuff like that. We didn't know that. I remember when I was, I think I was maybe 8 when I caught chicken pox, 8 or 9. And I remember it was me, my sister, my close homeboy, his sister, all over my homeboy's house because his little cousin caught chicken pox. And a week later, I had chicken pox. Like, that's the crazy thing that the CDC or President Trump doesn't bring up is herd immunity. Like, we need each other's germs in a way. Like, it's crazy to say that, but we need each other's germs. Like, it's like when we're out at like stores and stuff and we got these masks on, we're not exchanging germs. Which is, like I said, it's crazy to say, but we need each other's germs. Like, you can look up any sort of, like, I guess, scientific article or video or something like that to where it states that we need each other's, as a human race, we need each other in all forms and fashions. So, whatever. Let's get back into the video. Sorry.
It's an antacid. There was an association that was noticed that patients that were admitted with COVID that got famotidine or were on famotidine prior to hospitalization did a little bit better. But that association is not proof that famotidine is a therapy. Adding more drugs, adding more therapies is not always better. And I think that that's a really important point, because the more you add, the more chance there is that you're going to have an interaction or a problem amongst the things that you're adding. And when things have not been studied that say A goes with B really well, right? You're potentially introducing risk rather than benefit. And that's why, knowing a little bit more would be helpful in trying to parse this out.
All right. So that was a doctor, if not a scientist, talking about certain treatments and stuff like that. And where basically stating like they're coming up with all these different sort of cocktails to give people that they don't know if it does work. They don't know if if it doesn't work. It's just all trial and error right now. And they're also waiting on the vaccine to be produced, which is like, I think it's like 10 different like medical labs coming up with this shit. I just I'm sorry, y'all. I'm drawing a blank. I've been talking too long. Anyway, the vaccine is being produced by 15 different medical labs. So we all know that Bill Gates and his wife Melinda Gates, they have a form of a vaccine. Then it's a whole bunch of other companies that's coming out with one. But if you heard Melinda Gates' ignorance when she was talking about who should get it first, she basically said African Americans should get the vaccine first. Which right now, which they're not showing on the news or anything. You gotta look this information up. Freaking the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, if not Bill's other company, which is called like two something. I can't remember the last couple numbers, but his other foundation, which is all about these vaccines and stuff like that, they're in Africa right now trying to test this shit on people to see if it works. Like, in no regard are they looking at themselves. Well, in this regard, they are looking at themselves as if they're a savior to the people. Number one. Number two, they don't have any regard for human life at all, especially over in Africa, because they feel as though that these people are expendable. And with that being said, it's a whole bunch of land that's being bought up by countries, other countries that's trying to get their trying to buy up land in Africa and stuff like that, just so shit like this can happen. So, like, we have to sit with ourselves and think, is there a way that we can get through this shit, or are we gonna have to just go back out as if it was all normal again? Because with that being said, ain't nothing gonna be normal anymore. Certain old companies have came back out. Well, the only type of entertainment that has came back is drive-in theaters. So these movie companies can start making money again. And I don't feel as though that's a problem, that they want to make money, but by what cost do they, like, at what cost for us is there like a line being that we have to draw a line? That's basically what I'm trying to say here. So I want to show probably like 5 minutes. Probably like 5 minutes. I'm gonna switch gears. I want to show like 5 minutes of this unreleased footage from the Breonna Taylor stuff. So we all know that Breonna Taylor was shot and gunned down by the Louisville, Kentucky police department because they was doing raids simultaneously around the city, and her name happened to be one of those names in the pile of where they had to go. So this footage, what I'm about to show you, I might skip through some of it, but I'm only going to show maybe 5 minutes of it. So basically, to set everything up, the video is the investigation afterwards. Basically, that's all that it is. So I'm gonna bring the screen back up and let's look at what is going on.
Hey, Roger, get up here. What's up? Keep walking backwards. Do not do anything else. Do not reach down. Keep walking backward. Walk back to me. Keep on walking. Now. You want to fucking that's what's going on. For the rest of your life. What did I do? Who else in the apartment? Nobody. My girlfriend's there. Inside? Yeah, somebody.
This previously unreleased body cam footage shows Kenneth Walker being apprehended by police on the night his girlfriend Breonna Taylor was shot and killed, while police executed a search warrant on the 26-year-old's apartment. On September 23rd, 6 months after the raid, Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron announced no charges will be brought for her death.
So we all saw what he said last week when I had it in the video. And basically, he's, you know what I mean, it was some bullshit what he said of these police officers not being charged for what they did. It wasn't a clean shooting at all. They didn't know who was in the house. In some rights, her boyfriend Kenny, he did what he had to do, basically. You know what I mean? They said that they announced themselves, but the speculations and there's rumors saying that they didn't. There's other things being said in the news and in articles and on social media. So this whole thing is a shitstorm. And we have yet to hear what they're gonna do with George Floyd's killer. We don't know what's about to happen. So this footage here is of Detective Brett Hankerson, the guy that actually shot Breonna Taylor, and he fired at least 10 shots, as you can see on the screen. And this is the investigation of what either internal affairs or the police department itself is doing. So let's listen to it.
Remain to see the Louisville Metro Police Department's Public Integrity Unit.
Over the course of 2 weeks following the raid, the 7 officers who approached Taylor's door gave their accounts of what happened that night to investigators from the Louisville Police Department's Public Integrity Unit, which investigates officer-involved shootings. These interviews were later played for the grand jury.
So like I said, this is about the incident that occurred on March 13th, 2020 at 3003 Springfield Drive, apartment number 4.
And right away, discrepancies emerged. including in basic info officers say they knew going in.
All that we knew is it was a female's apartment, I believe is an ex-girlfriend. I don't recall her name, but she resided at that location. And that's all I knew.
We were told that it shouldn't be a problem. It was supposed to be her and her kid. Maybe like her and a small child there.
Didn't know anything about kids or dogs or anything like that.
We made our approach to the apartment. We knocked on the door. We announced police multiple times.
This is one of the most crucial points, whether or not officers announce themselves. Walker says he never heard them, and more than a dozen neighbors told us the same thing. But in his press conference, the AG focused on one witness, who he says corroborated the officers' stories.
So you said you did remember them saying something as they were knocking on the door?
Yeah,
What were they saying when they were knocking on the door?
the cops.
This is the cops?
Yeah.
What the Attorney General didn't share is that that witness had told something seemingly different to police investigators back in March.
Did you ever hear anyone identify themselves as police? No, nobody identified themselves.
Jurors heard summaries of both these interviews.
All right, so did the guy that they had on the phone, did he get paid off so the police could get off? Did they pay him off? Be like, yo, say this, say that what they saw didn't happen, whatever, this, that, and the third, or was it that he told the truth in the beginning and he lied, or did he lie first and then told the truth at the end? We don't know because the investigation is still ongoing. And, well, no, it's not because they didn't charge any of the police. So, as you know, the police gave Breonna Taylor's mother $12 million, which was basically the money of which the Louisville, Kentucky taxpayers paid to her mom. Not saying that that's a bad thing, but this is what we're dealing with. This is the question of which Sally Jesse Raphael asked both Kamala Harris and Mike Pence of what would their administration do to try to make it to where none of this happens at all. And as we can see, that the same shit just keeps happening over and over. People are getting paid to basically shut up, which is family members being paid to shut up. And because if you don't know, the money that they get, they can't come back out and then badmouth the police. They basically have to sign an NDA with that money. Because that's the only way that they'll get the money, is if they sign that NDA. So, this is what we gotta vote for, yo. And none of these candidates have it to where this is what they want to do. It's all about other shit. Not saying that the other shit isn't important, but right now, at this time, the two things that's affecting the country is coronavirus and police discretions towards African Americans. That's what it is. So I'm gonna play probably another minute of this and then I'm gonna end it off. Alright, so let's get into the video and I'll do the outro.
Door, things appear to get even hazier.
When I reached down, I hit it. Boom, boom, boom. Police with a warrant. And I hit it. First hit was on the door handle, and then after the third hit, it flew open, and that's when it hit the fan.
The door comes off the hinges, so I just let off one shot. I still can't see who it is or anything.
And it goes boom, and as soon as the shot hit, I could feel the heat in my leg. And so I just returned fire. I got 4 rounds off. And it was simultaneous. It's boom, 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 boom.
And then I went back and went down on the side of the door and then reached around, and I think I got 2 more off.
So now the door's like flying open. I have 1 shot, and then all of a sudden there's a whole lot of shots.
As soon as the door popped open, rounds were coming.
Okay.
It was like pop, and then pop, pop. It was like boom, pop, 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 pop.
What I saw at the time was a figure in a shooting stance, and it looked as if he or she was holding an AR-15 or a long gun, a rifle.
Which that wasn't true. But you can see how the police are trying to lie through their investigation just so they can keep their jobs. Y'all remember what I said last week? There's a bond connected to every cop. If you sue that bond, they cannot work. So why is it that we're not taking this information to where when this shit does happen, it don't happen no more? So let's keep going.
Turn, and I see that John Manley is being pulled or scooched back or is somehow moving back from behind me. And I can hear nothing. It is completely muted. There is no sound. And I did not have any pain sensation or any recollection that I'm firing a gun. If you told me I didn't fire a gun, I'd be like, okay, I believe you.
Alright. So that was the investigation, everybody. There's more, so go on to the Vice News channel so you can see the full 21 minute and 55 second video. And yeah, man, like this shit gotta stop. We gotta do something about it, and we gotta make sure that with our best interest, we're voting for the right person. That's all I really have to say. Vote however you want to vote, but make sure you're voting for the right person. Alright? So, with that being said, everybody, please, like, comment, and subscribe on this video. It means a lot because by you doing that, I get into the algorithm of YouTube, which my videos can be showed to other people. And also, please follow me on these social media websites. I'm at Marcus.speaks.podcast on Instagram, and you can find the fan page of Marcus Speaks Podcast on Facebook, and my personal page on Facebook, because I don't have a blue check, is Marcus Speaks. You can find all of that on the social media website shown to you right here. And I just want to thank y'all for watching. And again, please have a nice day. And you know what I mean? Like, do what y'all have to do with this election. All right. So again, this is another episode of Marcus Speaks. I have been your host, Marcus, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.